Earlier this week, an Indonesian passenger plane crashed off the coast of Jakarta. Only 15 minutes into its journey, the flight disappeared from the radar. Hours later, debris from the Lion Air flight was found in the Java Sea. Divers immediately searched through the sea and recovered a few bodies. Investigators have not found any survivors yet. Aviation experts believe that the crash was due to equipment failure, but more will be determined after they uncover information on the flight's black box. This device holds the last known speed, altitude, wind speed, and other operations.
So they just recently found the main fuselage of the plane, and they got a ping back in the water from the black box. So once they get that, that's going to open this whole thing wide open. But you told me this morning that this situation just got even worse when they sent the rescue crews out?
Yeah, actually, a rescuer who is a scuba diver was underwater and was reported missing by his partner. And then they found him unconscious, and a couple hours later, he died. You know, Zach, I know that you're a really big scuba diver. How easy is it for something to go wrong?
So many things can go wrong when you're underwater, and especially when you have a rescue mission like that, you're not necessarily paying as much attention to yourself as you are to your surroundings, and things can go wrong in a split second. And another deadly incident back here in the States. 11 people are dead after a gunman opened fire in a synagogue in Pittsburgh last week. Among the victims are a 97-year-old Holocaust survivor and a couple that got married over 60 years ago in the same building. The suspect, 46-year-old Robert Bowers, faces 44 charges. The charges include murder, hate crime, obstructing religious practices, and more. Prosecutors are hoping to enforce the death penalty, and authorities are calling the shooting the worst anti-Semitic incident in U.S. history. Now, Morgan, I know this one unfortunately struck home a little bit more with you.
Yeah, as a Jewish citizen of the United States, I knew a lot of people who actually belong to the Tree of Life Synagogue. And I know a lot of people who actually have a lot of family members who were there during the event. And it is just so disheartening to see this happen on American soil, especially with the Holocaust survivor dying there.
Now, I know it's hard to see the silver lining in a lot of these bad situations these days, but two Muslim groups in Pittsburgh actually raised over $200,000 to put towards the victims and their families from this awful shooting. So yes, there's bad things that go on, but if we can look and see the good that's coming out of it, then we're going to be okay.
I completely agree. And 15,000 active duty troops will mobilize to prevent Central American migrants from entering the United States. Only 20% of the 7,000 are expected to complete the journey. Military planners are concerned about armed militias coming to the border where the U.S. troops are. Trump has described these caravans as a danger to national security. He also describes the migrants as, quote, unknown Middle Easterners and very tough fighters. Other concerns are that terrorists and traffickers will grow the migrant group, leading to an increase of cross-border engagements.
So I think the thing we have to remember here is that these immigrants aren't leaving just because they want to. These people are evading persecution, poverty, violence in their home country. And yes, this is bigger than migrant caravans in the past, which were only about 100 or a couple hundred. So I think it's interesting that in another 2 weeks or so, they're going to be at the U.S. border, and we're going to have to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, and definitely President Trump sending all these troops to the border and saying that there will be violence involved is definitely a very, very interesting but scary event, and I guess we'll just have to see when they get closer.
Yes, Oprah. The midterm elections are just around the corner, and everyone is pitching in. With campaigns in the home stretch, celebrities and politicians are doing everything they can to help the nominees that they support. Oprah was in Georgia on Thursday, knocking on doors and speaking to crowds for the Democratic nominee for governor, Stacey Abrams. And former President Barack Obama was in Florida yesterday, campaigning for nominees for Senate and governor there. But closer to home, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders is next door in the 22nd District, campaigning for Claudia Tenney, who is in a tight race herself to hang on to her seat in Congress. Everyone's getting involved. I mean, what would you do if Oprah was in your town or knocked on your door telling you to vote for someone?
Honestly, if Oprah knocked on my door, I think that I would scream and pass out because I am such a huge fan of
full
Oprah.
Josh Peck,
oh
yeah.
my god! Oh my god! I love that reference. Yes. No, I would be so excited. But I'm so excited to see all of these people getting so politically active, including Taylor Swift too. So she just came out for the first time in her entire career and endorsed a Democratic candidate for Tennessee. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, everyone seems to be getting involved, even though you said VP Mike Pence was saying that he doesn't want people to speak out as much. But hey,
It's
2018, we have a voice, we're going to share it.
And if you want more updates on the midterm elections, be sure to check out the special election coverage from CitrusTV Tuesday at 8 p.m. And it isn't just celebrities and politicians getting involved in the election. Ben & Jerry's ice cream is also making its mark. The company announced the arrival of their newest flavor, Pecan Resist, a play on We Can Resist. It's to send a message of support to those fighting against racism, sexism, homophobia, and xenophobia. Ben & Jerry's is donating $25,000 to organizations committed to social change and is encouraging their customers to learn about their causes. And no matter what your politics are, it's safe to say, can't resist a pun.
Ah, jeez. All puns aside, I do have to say, I think it's great that Ben & Jerry's is sticking with the times, staying woke, and just putting themselves out there and speaking for their cause, and I mean, the best way they can. I mean, it's their ice cream. I think people are going to buy it.
Yeah, and make sure you get this flavor because it is a limited edition. But however, a lot of people are not the biggest fan of this, and they said that the company should just stick to ice cream instead of making political statements.
Stick to ice cream, shut up and dribble. We've heard that argument be made in 2018, and I think it's just debunked. We have a voice, we have social media, we have all these different platforms. We're going to speak. And a not-so-ugly duckling has strayed rather far from its pond and right into the middle of Manhattan. New Yorkers are flocking to Central Park to see this beautiful, rare mandarin duck. The creature, which is native to East Asia, is known for its multicolored feathers and hot pink bill. Nobody understands how the duck is in Manhattan, as New Yorkers are not allowed to own ducks as pets. But birdwatcher Dave Barrett says he checked with every zoo in the city, and none reported a missing duck. Park officials do not plan to remove the duck unless it requires medical care. The health does not seem to be a problem at the moment. Morgan, I heard that you're weirdly excited about this duck.
I love this duck. Okay, so I lived in New York City this summer, and I am just so jealous that I'm not there because this duck has been in over 25,000 Instagrams. And it has this huge hashtag, it's hashtag Mandarin Duck, if in case you want to look it up. But basically, I just think it's so cute. Have you seen the duck?
I have. It's a good-looking duck. I'll give it that. But how many times this summer did you actually go bird watching in New York City?
Okay, maybe none. But like...
It's a duck. You're going to throw bread at it. It's going to come to you. Sure, it's cuter than most ducks, but okay.
Okay, well then, like this duck, let's get this bread. After the break, Juice and Java Morning.